Hi everyone, today we will learn about how to use the image analysis tool Graphic Organizer. This strategy will help us look closely at a visual source to develop greater insights, interpretations, and become curious about what we are looking at. We can use this strategy to think through documents for contextual understanding and to extract information to make informed judgments. We can use this strategy for photos, written documents, artifacts, posters, maps, cartoons, videos, and sound recordings. And we can learn about the process of document analysis. For the purpose of this video, we will use an image from Unit 1, Day 7 to 8, European Exploration, but you can apply this strategy to lots of documents that you are learning about in social studies class. For the setup, we can use the graphic organizer that is shown here. You could also recreate this in your social studies notebook following the steps, including the title of the image and the important parts of steps 1, 2, and 3. First, we will select an image. Today, we will use this image here. Our first step is observe what is happening. We want to study the image for approximately 2 minutes. As you are observing, pay attention to the people, objects, and activities that you see. In this step, I want to emphasize that we are not looking for interpretations at this stage, only what we observe. Think about observations as something you could actually put your fingers on within the image. After you have studied the image for 2 minutes, you can begin noting your observations in the graphic organizer. So now I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes and make some observations. This is a great time to pause the video and see what observations you can come up with on your own. Okay, I am back. I have observed the image for 2 minutes and I am ready to write down my observations. I also want to point out that it's important to look at all of the information that's given to us. I want to make note of this year that I see here on the right-hand side that says 1415, as well as the quote that can provide us some additional context as well. So now I'm thinking about our graphic organizer, and I'm studying the document. I'm using the chart below to list people, objects, and activities in the image, just like it says in step 1. For people, there are people holding different objects. The people are wearing clothes that are different colors. Now I'm thinking about objects. For objects, I would add that I see sailboats and that the sails on the boats are unfurled. I'm noticing buildings, a sword. I'm noticing silk and gold, elephants, and camels. Next, we're going to look at activities. I think this means that the people are explorers or traders of silk, gold, and other goods. Now I'm going to take the time to make my thinking visible in the graphic organizer. Next, we're going to go to step 2 and reflect. I want us to reflect on the following 2 questions. What is happening in the image, and what does this image remind you of or make you think about? In this step, we can think about making some inferences. For example, based on what we are seeing and noticing in step 1, what does it make us think? What kinds of interpretations can we form based on our observations? I want us to think about what else is going on in this image. And what do you see that makes you say that? I'm going to refer back to the chart in step 1 and formulate a sentence that answers these questions. I believe that explorers or traders are arriving in a city and exchanging resources. Now I'm going to make my thinking visible in the step 2 box on my graphic organizer. I'm going to refer back to the chart in step 1 and formulate a sentence that answers these questions. Remember, you can always go back to the image as you're thinking as well. I believe that explorers and traders are arriving in a city and exchanging resources. Also, using prior knowledge, this image reminds me of the motivations for exploration, including religion, riches, gold, fame, spices, wealth, land, and/or trade. So now I'm going to take the time to make my thinking visible and reflect on these 2 questions in step 2. Finally, we've arrived at step 3. I want us to think about what we were wondering about and ask 3 questions. The goal here is to think about the broader questions that push us beyond our interpretations and to look at issues and ideas raised by the image. For example, If I take another look at the image, I wonder where they are traveling next. Who exactly are the people being portrayed here? What group of people is profiting the most from these interactions? Now I'll take the time to complete step 3 and write my questions down in this space here in the graphic organizer. All right, everyone, now it is your turn. And remember, you can apply this strategy to lots of documents that you are learning about in social studies class.